Hello everyone, my name is Jason, aka Bacon Chest, coach of the St Kilda Superiors. Welcome to weeks 2 and 4 of the ICBA D-League. So, we originally had a forfeit for this week 2 game, however, due to the player having pretty much dropped from the league, however that player has been replaced, and the replacement, who you can see on your screen, is Igloo Boy, and the Kalamazoo Kingdras, asked if he could play the games that the other person had missed, and I was, reasonably happy to do that. I would prefer to play games and have content and, actually feel like I'd earned my wins or my losses, rather than just get forfeits. So, yeah, I was happy to play that, but due to sort of time constraints and the fact that both this game and my week 4 game against Arapthos and the Melbourne Storm Throws they're both quite short. Like, neither of these games go beyond like 20 turns. So I decided to put that into one video. So looking at this week 2 game first, against the Kalamazoo Kingdras. You can hopefully see their roster on the right hand side of the screen. The main thing I was happy not to see was the Shuckle, because that meant no sticky webs, which could have potentially been an issue with things like Volcanion, even like Mega Venusaur, Hitmontop, could have all been like a much bigger threat. My team has an Excel Rock, because an Excel Rock, well, I mean basically an Excel Rock, a Lichen Rock with Excel Rock, because that thing just punishes so much of my opponent's offense. So like Volcanion, Swellow, and Weavile all really struggle with it. I've got a bulky Drapion with Toxic Spikes in case I can like get them up if he hadn't bought the Venusaur, or just like, to force the Venusaur to come in. We've got a Choppleberry Heatran, because that's a really solid response to even the Weavile. We've got an Assault Vest Delmise, because we needed some form of removal for the potential sticky webs in this game, and AV Delmise was pretty solid against things like Florges and Mega Venusaur and even Swellow, if it was a Spec Swellow. We've got a very physically defensive, I believe, Kebia Berry Primarina, and we have a Calm Mind, 3 attacks, Deoxys with Flash Cannon, Psychic, Hidden Power Fire. I believe Hidden Power Fire is for, don't quote me on this, but I think they have a Fortress or something. No, it's not a Fortress, that's in one of my other games. I believe it was Hidden Power Fire. A Scizor, was, I believe, the mon that they didn't bring. Yes. That I was worried about. And with Steelium Z to break down the Rhyperior that could have come, or the Florges that did come, or even just to hit something really hard generally. So, let's get into this battle. I decided to lead off with Primarina because, looking at my opponent's matchup, given that they didn't bring Shuckle, I was kind of expecting potentially a Weavile lead, potentially a Volcanion lead, or this Swellow. And for all of those, Primarina is pretty much my best response. So yeah, I'm able to take this pretty easily. As we see, this is definitely a special attacking Swellow, because the U-turn only did 6%. If it was physical one, it would have done like 10 or 12 or something. So yeah, U-turns out, brings out the Volcanion. That's actually great, because we need damage off on this thing to sweep with Deoxys. And also chipping it away means that Lycanroc can kill it with Excel Rock. So yeah, I just clicked Moonblast because it's pretty solid stab against this entire team. And didn't allow this thing to get away without getting any damage. So I'm just going to click a Toxic here. If he was Specs Sludge Wave, with my set, it had a chance to kill. But in that case, I get free Heatran, I get free Drapion, it sort of gives me a lot of options in that case. And I didn't hugely need Primarina beyond, responding to this thing and potentially getting a Toxic off on it. So, clicks Earth Power, which does, like, very, very little. That's, definitely not an offensive. I think it actually wasn't even modest. I think it was a timid Volcanion. or like not max special attack, and certainly no boosting items. So we're able to get Toxic off, so this thing's being worn down really easily. That's a really good start. As you go out to Venusaur, as I click the Moonblast again, this is a very, very fat Venusaur, but I do have Expert Belt Psychic on this Primarina. So as he gets up the seeds, we're able to get off, you know, a good chunk of damage. And again, that's really, really good damage because we otherwise don't kill this thing with our Deoxys unless we've gotten some chip damage off first. So that's fine. I'm just going to go straight into my Deoxys now because this Venusaur is set up fodder for Deoxys. Knockoff is not even a 2-hit KO, or like is sort of questionably a 2-hit KO, depending on his spread. Like I think Adamant Max Attack has a chance to 2-hit KO. Because I am max HP, I didn't need any speed to outspeed everything in my opponent's team, which is just the nicest thing about Deoxys speed. As we see that my opponent goes for a Giga Drain, it does 39%, that's, you know, like, that's no damage. I don't really care about that. So we're just going to click a Calm Mind as he goes out into Florges, and this is the exact scenario I wanted. I didn't actually calc this, because obviously, like, it depends on the exact spread that the Florges is running, but I was just like, look, if we can get huge damage off on this thing, that gives us so much potential late game with Lycanroc, because we did have Swords Dance on our Lycanroc, and it just sort of frees up things like Primarina and Heatran to just like click buttons. So yeah, I'm just gonna click the Z Flash Cannon, also because I know that this Florges can't kill me. You know, like, what's it gonna do against a +1/+1 Deoxys? He clicks the Moonblast, fortunately does not get the special attack drop. So yeah, we've done 91% to this thing. I can now freely click Psychic, because that will kill anything. And he decides to bring out the Hitmontop, and this is amazing, because this is the crucial turn in the game, where that Hitmontop was the only reliable check to this Deoxys, with the potential for Sucker Punch, because Weavile would have had to be Banded Ice Shard to even have a chance to kill me from that range, and Swellow we already know is special, Venusaur can't do anything, Volcanion can't do anything, unless, no, because yeah, even if the Volcanion is Scarf, I still outspeed it, I'm fairly certain. And so yeah, we're able to just, like, destroy that Hitmontop, and with Hitmontop gone, we're pretty much clear to sweep. So yeah, he brings out the Volcanion, I click Psychic, I don't know how much bulk that Volcanion had, but +1 Psychic destroys that. And now this is just going to be me clicking buttons, as I'm able to click Flash Cannon. Once again, that could have potentially been a roll. Like, a lot of these are just, you know, I was just kind of, cool, let's just punch as many holes as we can with this thing. And then we can take advantage of the rest of his team as it sees fit, but in the end, Deoxys is able to pick up all 6 kills, even though the Venusaur does live, but because I've got so much HP investment, we're able to actually tank the Earthquake really nicely. Obviously, we would have tanked a Giga Drain because of our +1 Spadef. And yeah, we're able to pick up a win. So, nice 6-0 victory. That's really good. Obviously, I think when we had a forfeit win in this slot, we had a 3-0 victory, so we've actually increased our differential, which is, yeah, you know, pretty good. So yeah, GG to Igloo Boy and the Kalamazoo Kingdras. So yeah, not a huge amount to say about that. Like, that Deoxys set was just perfectly tailored to this matchup, and, you know, like, as soon as he sacked off the Hitmontop, it was basically game over. Like, to the extent that I didn't get some of the rolls, or if he'd gotten some rolls in his favour, potentially I might have had to click buttons with some of my other mons, but at that point I could just pretty much click attacks with things like Lycanroc, and, you know, his mons were just going to go down. So yeah, so that's week 2. Now let's move on to week 4. This is our game against Rapthos and the Melbourne Stormthrows, who have a very threatening roster, mostly Naganadel and Greninja, and Mimikyu. Like, those 3 mons are just terrifying. In this game, we've got a Dragon Dance, Komodo, a Focus Sash, Stealth Rock's 3 attacks, Deoxys, and I believe I can't exactly remember what the rest of our sets were, aside from like, Meloetta is definitely a special attacking set. I think Lycanroc is Life Orb. But yeah, anyway. So going into this game, I had intended to just lead off with Deoxys. I was like, yep, we're going to lead off with Deoxys because it has a really good matchup. It gets up rocks. Because it's Sash, it can live any hit from anything on my opponent's roster and, you know, like, deal a lot of damage back. But I saw the Kecleon, and I thought, like a Stealth Rocks, like a Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, Stealth Rocks, Kecleon, would be a massive problem as a counter lead for my Deoxys. And so I second guessed myself and led off with Komodo because I thought, well, we can potentially threaten out Kecleon / potentially set up on it and, you know, be able to get off a hit on something. But I should not have second guessed myself. So he leads off with Naganadel, and excuse me. And obviously this is a huge problem I can't stay in. I just go straight out into my Heat Ray because it's my dedicated response to this. As he clicks the U-turn, does absolutely nothing, but is able to bring out the Gliscor. So that's really annoying because, yeah, I was kind of hoping to have the Heatran in on the Naganadel and click Will-O-Wisp, as it switched into Gliscor and then stopped Gliscor from getting the Toxic Orb, or if you went out into... Yeah, like pretty much Gliscor was, like, going to be the main switch, right? So yeah, that was just, like, a poor lead choice on my part, as now I don't really have a good switch in for this Gliscor. So I actually go out into my Deoxys thinking, well, we can potentially get up rocks here, as I have the Ice Beam, that's right, yeah, I have, I think, Psychic, Ice Beam, and I can't remember what my third move was, but, maybe Focus Blast, yeah, I think Focus Blast to take out the Greninja, as we do 27% to this, and the problem is this Kecleon, I just don't know what moves it has. It could have Pursuit, so if I switch out, I'm dead. It could have Sucker Punch, in which case, if I attack, I'm dead. I kind of banked on it being... I was only thinking about Pursuit or Sucker Punch, I wasn't thinking about Shadow Sneak at the time, so I just decided, well, let's just get up rocks. As, yeah, Shadow Sneak just takes me out, and now I'm really on the back foot, because my Deoxys is gone, and, you know, I really did need rocks in this matchup. And also just, like, the way he played that Naganadel on turn 1 kind of indicates to me that it's probably Scarf. Which is also a problem because it means DD Komodo doesn't actually win the game. So I'm kind of like floundering around a bit here. So I click Crunch, because, yeah, like that was, again, like not a particularly good play. Like there was no real reason not to click Stone Edge here. Like 2 Stone Edges would have done a lot to this Gliscor. As you can see, like I did 34% with Crunch. Which only, you know, has, what, 80 base power versus, like, 150. So, like, I would have potentially 2-hit KO'd this thing with Stone Edge, particularly with the crit chance. Obviously, I would have had to hit, but, you know. And instead, I'm kind of like, well, yeah, I still have no switch into this Gliscor, so I'm forced to click Stone Edge and kind of hope for a crit, and that doesn't go well. So, yeah, we lose our Lycanroc, and now we're, like, 6-4 down, and we're just, like, not having a good time. So I go out to Meloetta because I can at least tank a hit from this thing. I go for the Hidden Power Ice, get some damage off on Kecleon, and this Kecleon's just being a massive problem because for some reason I decided I needed to switch out there, even though I could have probably just killed that thing off with a, I believe, I'm trying to think about Psy Shock or Psychic, one of the two. But oh yeah, I was once again fearing the Sucker Punch onto my Meloetta, and so I went, oh no, we'll go into Primarina, but instead it means I just take a knockoff, which actually does a lot of damage because this thing has such poor physical defense, and then I also have to take a Shadow Sneak, so this thing's now like pretty much useless because it's taken like 65% when it just didn't need to. And now I, like, don't have good Manectric switch-ins because I didn't bring a ground type in this game, so yeah, like, things are just not going well. And we're forced to switch out on the Mimikyu, and so this was where I was like, oh no, this is fine. Like, I tank a +4 Shadow Claw. I think I actually tank a +4 Z Shadow Claw with this Heatran set, or at least, like, I definitely tank a regular +4 Shadow Claw. I think I even have a chance of tanking +4 Z, and I was like, cool, this is, like, totally fine. This Heatran, is going to be able to live, I'm going to be able to get off, because he's only at +2, I'll be able to get off 2 Lava Plumes and have a chance to burn, so I don't need to click Will-O-Wisp here, like, this is totally fine. And then he pulls out the Drain Punch, which I just had not prepped for. Yeah, I think I knew at one stage that Mimikyu had Drain Punch, but I'd clearly forgotten when I was prepping for this match. And so that's a 2-hit KO. So if we'd gotten the burn here, then we would have obviously lived the next one and been able to destroy this Mimikyu with a Flash Cannon into we could have just clicked Flash Cannon. That would have been totally fine. Because but instead we don't get the burn, and Mimikyu destroys, and now Mimikyu just cleans up my team because he's got the Let's Snuggle Forever to guarantee the KO on my Meloetta, and obviously Komodo can't take a player off. I did kind of think at this point, so I haven't actually confirmed whether or not he was Scarf Naganadel, but I did click Dragon Dance here on the off chance that he missed the player off, because if he misses the player off and I Dragon Dance, I have Iron Head to kill this Mimikyu, and at that point, like, I outspeed his entire team unless he's boosted, except for what I believe, except for what may have also been a Scarf Manectric, but Scarf Manectric doesn't matter at all because it just can't do enough damage to Komodo. And at that point I would have actually just won, and it would have been the least deserved victory of all time. But yeah, because I believe I had, what did I have? Iron Head. I'm trying to think if this thing gets Ice Punch, because I think it might in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and if it does, then I was carrying the Ice Punch, and then, like, no, I was probably just Dragon Claw, but, oh, yeah, but the thing is, obviously, if he brings out Gliscor, like, he doesn't kill me unless he's, like, Acrobatics, like, no, even Acrobatics isn't gonna kill, without the, like, having lost his item. So, yeah, like, I could have gone to +2 on a Gliscor and then just definitely won the game. But, yeah, like, we don't get that, which is good, frankly. Like, I would not have deserved that victory at all. And it probably wouldn't have been the case anyway, because he probably was Scarf Naganadel. And, yeah, so Mimikyu's able to clean up, so that's a 5-0 loss. So, yeah, we get a 6-0 win and a 5-0 loss in those two games, so our differential is, like, just keeping above neutral. And, yeah, so that leaves us at 2-2 after 4 weeks of the ICBA D-League. Yeah, really unhappy with how I prepped and played that game, but, like, kudos to Arapthos. Like, that was a very well prepped team. It really just did a number on my squad. Like, he didn't even have to use, I think it's Protean Greninja, and didn't really have to use Naganadel at all. Like, it was just Gliscor plus Mimikyu plus Kecleon. Like, those three mons was just a huge problem. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance to rematch against this team later in the season. Like, hopefully in playoffs, and yeah, hopefully, you know, put up a better showing than what we have here. Yeah, so that's about it. So yeah, until next time, later.